How does Stephen Guilbeault, the environment minister, not get charged with arson if he let Jasper burn despite the premier of Alberta? Testimony that 20 fire trucks and 50 certified firefighters were threatened and told not to fight the fires. Please do not divulge my name to these censorious thugs. Okay, so we will honor your request, but I will tell you, it's not arson if he didn't intentionally light the fire. He is an idiot, Stephen Guilbeault. He did turn away 50 professionally trained firefighters and 20 fire trucks, including 2 huge fire trucks from Arctic Fire Safety. They were coming to fight a fire at a resort on behalf of an insurance company, and they came with extra. They were turned away multiple times, threatened with arrest. And when they were finally allowed into the town, they were allowed to not actively fight fires inside the town site. They were only supposed to work at their one location. And I think part of it was to not have anybody find out that they had the wrong kind of fire hydrants installed in the park, so that outside municipal fire departments that didn't work directly with Jasper, so not Hinton, but outside of that immediate area, if they came, they wouldn't be able to hook to the fire hydrants, and that was a catastrophe. And also, outside firefighters were also told they could not get water from the lakes and rivers. In Jasper, they had to truck water in from Hinton at an extreme cost. But it is a scandal. Unfortunately, probably not criminal. Let's go to Jeff. Hi, Sheila. I'm a huge fan of Rebel News. There's something I've noticed coming from Europe. Both Stellantis and Volkswagen are going broke, as we in Canada, especially Ontario, are heavily invested in EV batteries. I think we might be in trouble. Oh boy, yes, we are. What do you think? Keep up the good work, Jeff. Okay, so Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford, alleged conservative, are both heavily invested in electric vehicle battery plants. And these battery companies are going broke in other parts of the world. And now these projects are starting to get shelved in Canada, even after we've given them billions of dollars. And I'm horrified at the wasted money, but I'm also sort of grateful from a public safety aspect. I was talking to Michelle Sterling from Friends of Science one time, and she said, we don't know how to fight these fires if a fire breaks out at these enormous battery facilities because of the chemicals that they use and the elements and the minerals that they use. We don't know how to fight them. Conventional firefighting won't do it. And the gases emitted are so dangerous. So I hate the idea of us wasting all this money, but I'm kind of glad because for the public safety and public health issue, but also because this sort of is the slow death of Justin Trudeau's plan to get us all into electric vehicles by 2030 or 2035 or whenever he has decided we can no longer sell gas-powered vehicles and diesel-powered vehicles here in Canada, new off the lot, because there won't be batteries for them. And so that makes me happy because I was worried that the other side of the pressure campaign to get us all into electric vehicles, which don't work in our climate, like when would I ever get to use one? Like I'm way the heck out of town. It's super cold here, always 5 degrees colder than it is in the closest municipality. I don't live on a paved road, so tell me how a egg-shaped abomination of an electric car is going to get me to town when I have to have 4x4 just for safety purposes. But I was worried that the feds would want to then grandfather out the sale of replacement parts for gas and diesel vehicles, right? Because you will tinker on your gas or diesel powered car forever if you're somebody like me, rather than be forced at the hand of the state into an electric car you don't want. So how do you stop somebody like me from saying, you'll take my Jeep from my cold dead hands? Well, you make sure that I can't get replacement parts. Cut me off from my beloved Mopar. That's how they would do it. And so I'm sort of glad that the battery industry for these vehicles is falling apart because no batteries, no electric vehicles. So silver lining in all of that. Shane asks, hi, please. I want to know why Canada can't produce their own oil. Well, that is news to me, my friend. Canada does produce its own oil. Alberta has conventional oil. We've got oil sands. We've got a hybrid of conventional and oil sands called SAGD. Gas so prolific it leaks out of the ground. In southern Alberta, coal everywhere. I can't use my well water to wash my clothes because it sits in a coal seam. And so it can get a little dark and coaly. So we've got so many fossil fuels in Alberta, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, even in Quebec. You guys could frack in Quebec if the government would let you. However, we have an adversarial government to fossil fuel development. We've got actually not just an adversarial government, a radicalized government. I mean, look at our environment minister, Stephen Guilbeault, was once arrested for his radical environmental activism. So in the West, we would love to send you in the East oil and gas. We don't have a pipeline to do it. So instead of building a nation building project of a pipeline like Energy East, the Trudeau government would rather bring in conflict oil from places like Algeria and Nigeria and Iran, Venezuela, to the East Coast, refine it there, and then send it westward instead of allowing Alberta to give you the fruits of our labor and create even more jobs in the West, which pays transfer payments. They won't let us do that. It's completely, to answer your question, why can't we produce our own oil? We do. We can't sell it to you in the East because Justin Trudeau hates the West. It's a birth defect of the Liberals. Next one is from Bob on the exact thing I'm trying to wrap this show up to get back to cover. Good day, Sheila, and thank you. My biggest issue is accountability. When will the names of the 11 treasonous members who are still sitting in Parliament be named? What will be their punishment? This current India uprising is a distraction. Trudeau must be punished for his crimes, as this foreign interference has been ongoing for years and Trudeau has hidden evidence. He must pay for his incompetence. And what exactly is his role in this? Okay. Thank you for this question. This is the exact thing that I'm rushing to finish I'm rushing to finish the show to get back to cover. So there are 11, you say MPs, but I should tell you these are parliamentarians. So that could include members of the Senate, and I know of one. And the reason I know of one in the Senate is because the Conservatives told on themselves. The Conservatives were very concerned about the actions of Conservative Senator Victor O, a little too friendly with China. I think he was taking trips, sponsored trips to China, sponsored by the PRC, the People's Republic of China. And they said, whoa, 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 not a great idea. However, they can't fire a senator. So they told on themselves to security officials. They blew the whistle on their own guy. So we know of one. I'm going to guess another one is Han Dong, Liberal MP. Sorry, independent, because they kicked him out of caucus. If I had to guess, the MP Baines, who sits now in Kenny Chew's old riding of Steveston in British Columbia, that Liberal MP, I think he would be a recipient of it if I had to guess. So there are 11 parliamentarians. Right off the bat, when the Foreign Interference Commission reconvened some 3.5, almost 4 weeks ago, Commissioner Hogue said, we're not naming them. Well, then what the heck are we doing around here? We must know who they are before people vote in the next election, which is exactly why the Liberals aren't going to tell us. I think you should just look at every Liberal with suspicion at this point. Because what I do know is, if it were a Conservative, they would tell on themselves. And they did. Actually, they did it in 2 instances. So Patrick Brown, remember Patrick Brown? From David Menzies fame. He was running to be the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada post Erin O'Toole. The Conservatives saw irregularities, I'll just say that, in some of the nominations, or in the memberships, sold by the Brown campaign. Looked like they were all going to a certain ethnic group, and they couldn't trace where the money was coming from. And so the Conservative campaign team, again, told on themselves. So that's how I know that the remaining people I don't know about are more than likely Liberals, because the Conservatives are trying their best to purge this from their party and make sure that their party is not a place where you can do this sort of stuff. The Liberals are the one with the cone of seclusion. And will there be any consequences for Justin Trudeau? No. I mean, what consequences were there for Han Dong? He got kicked out of the Liberal Party. They're in talks to bring him back after the Foreign Interference Commission. So you bust in busloads of foreign students, not Canadians, from outside his riding to vote in his nomination so that he could win his nomination, so he could be the China's guy in that riding, and as a backbencher, regularly meeting with the consulate for God knows what reason. Anyway, there will be no consequences. The only consequences Justin Trudeau will have are in October 2025. From my lips to God's ears, he becomes the past Prime Minister of Canada.